Well, hello and welcome to the new look preview, the isolation preview for the 2020 Warrnambool Cup. I'm trying to find my good mate, George Farrugia. I think he's on my shoulder over here. G'day, Georgie. How are you, mate?
G'day, mate. I think you're on this way as well. So, yeah, look a little bit different, mate, than standing next to you in the studios, but we're going to get through it. And what a great week. Love the Warrnambool Cup. The whole May Carnival is always fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's a crazy time. There's no doubt about that. The Warrnambool town at this time of year is normally completely buzzing, and obviously it's going to be pretty quiet this time. But we'll try and make this preview feel as normal as possible. Let's get into it. But before we do, Georgie, what does it take to win a Warrnambool Cup? Your girl did it a few years ago, Striker Light. What do you look for in a greyhound to win the big one?
Yeah, look, I think all these country cups are pretty similar, James, in a sense that you cannot make a mistake from the boxes. I think you need to do everything right. This field in particular, I think that the same applies. Yeah, look, that girl that you mentioned, Striker Light, did everything right from box rise, and that was the way she won that race. And if you have a look back at some of the big races from Warrnambool, that's what a lot of greyhounds did to win their way through, including a greyhound like Black Magic Opal, of course, who was trained by Jason Thompson. So looking forward to this year. I love the heats on Thursday.
Yeah, they were terrific. 6 heats of the Warrnambool Cup. We'll touch on those a little bit later, Georgie boy, but let's take a look at this box draw now. Simon Told Helen's come up with box number 1, and he's the $2.50 favourite at this stage. Zambora Smoky in 2 at $2.80. And as you roll down the list, Leon Bale out in 7, Jack's Bale, Rising Stars drawn 5. Reserve Spearhead, Jim Zardashian. What did you first make of that box draw? I just felt like it was a real win for those drawn the inside.
Yeah, it was. That was the most fantastic heat to watch, where you've seen a Group 1 king in Simon Told Helen lead for most of the way, and Zambora Smoky really assert himself as a future star after what he did in that final stages. And we should probably touch on the way the track was playing, James. Yeah. It just kept raining, wasn't it? It was torrential for a while there, and the way Zambora Smoky got to the line, and now they're drawn next to each other, the match motors again. Cannot wait for Wednesday.
It's going to be a cracker. Let's go through them heat by heat. First race was pretty rough. Leon Bale was able to get the job done and slide through as one of the rough qualifiers for the final. But heat number 2, I thought this was just an intriguing battle. Up the straight, Jack's Bale looked like he was going to hold on, and then Aston Cade was just able to launch and power down the outside. It was a massive finish.
I'm a huge fan of Jack's Bale. I think he's going places. And I thought he won on the line, actually. I thought he had his head down at the right time. But, look, he's been beaten by a greyhound who started an Australian Cup final and was one of the leading fancies. And in quick time, too, James. They went nice and quick. And, yeah, look, I'm not sure about Jack's Bale where he's drawing this final. Interesting to hear your thoughts. But, yeah, he's probably hasn't come up with the best box draw. But I think a group win's close for Jack's Bale.
Yeah, it looks promising. And I heard Ronnie Hawkswell mention when he called Jack's Bale a few weeks ago, he was just saying, just real X factor about this greyhound along those lines. And when the Hawk sees one like that, he normally gets it right. The next heat, Faithy Bale was just able to run along. She stole the race from the inside, 25.39 or thereabouts was her run, Georgie. But I just get the feeling she's going to need to go a bit faster if she is going to win the Warrnambool Cup.
And I think she can. I mean, she's proven that in her career. I think she's got the right habits that we spoke about earlier, where you've just got to hop out of a box and put yourself into a good position. She's very, very capable. She's broken 25 seconds at Ballarat on 2 occasions. Obviously, Ballarat and Warrnambool are fairly similar. I think she's a little bit of a smoky at some nice odds.
Yeah, I like the confidence there. What about Razor Sharp? I thought this greyhound was a big chance in his heat, purely based on the fact he had the wide runner going from box number 2, Tiggerlong Tonk. And when I say wide runner, Tiggerlong Tonk, he was probably the favourite going into the series to win the Warrnambool Cup, Georgie. But what he does, when the lid's open, he does just shift a little bit to the outside. And he was able to make immediate contact to those on his outside, Tiggerlong Tonk. And that just created space for Razor Sharp. And once he'd gone through the lead, they weren't going to catch him.
Yeah, look, I think he's a little bit hit or miss at box rise, isn't he, Razor Sharp? But when he gets it right, he can match it with some of these greyhounds, that's for sure. So he's going to have to do everything right again at box rise, I think, to be in contention, especially where some of those have drawn on his inside.
What about this? I reckon this was just a race for the ages. Zambora Smoky, Simon Told Helen, and look, when Simon Told Helen led, he's a dual Group 1 winner over the 500 metres, maturity, the Perth Cup. They don't get any bigger than that. But this pup, Zambora Smoky, sat right behind him, sat on the outside of Simon Told Helen. He was working overtime, Georgie, but coming around the home corner, he just gave Simon Told Helen Winburn. It was so impressive to watch. It was just unbelievable.
It was. We won't go as far as saying that he dethroned the king, but I mean, he put his name up in lights, Zambora Smoky, because once Simon Told Helen led, you probably would have thought that he would keep going with it. In fairness to Simon Told Helen, that was his first run in 6 weeks, James, as we know.
Yeah, correct.
It was a heavy track. So there are some excuses, but take nothing away from Zambora Smoky, who's got a terrific record. Of course, he ran 26.97 in a heat of the Horsham Cup too. He's got prior form, but you know what it's like. They've got to step up and beat some of these group dogs, and he did that on Thursday. It just sets up for a real mouth-watering clash again. Yeah,
it does. Final heat security code caused a little bit of an upset here, defeating a couple of the big names in the race. Went 25 and 59. Clearly, it's going to be a tough assignment. The box draw's not making it any easier either.
Yeah, look, had the advantage of box one in its heat, and now he's drawn off the track against real speed dogs. So you'd think long odds for security code, that's for sure.
I think we're going along beautifully here, Georgie. For an isolation, you're just over there. I'm here. Yeah, it's all happening.
Yeah, it's all good. We should do this more often.
I know, mate. I'm enjoying it because I got to spend an extra hour or two doing form instead of driving into to do the preview. But let's get into selections because the punters at home, there's not much sport on. They need to find a winner to keep that balance ticking over. What do you think's going to win the Warrnambool Cup?
Yeah, my numbers are 1, 2, 6 and 3. I just think Simon Told Helen can probably reverse what happened last week. Absolute gun animal, of course. He's a multiple group winner. I reckon he'd strip a lot fitter from the run. And if he just begins cleanly and hunt up and drive, he might not get past this week. I've put Zambora Smoky for second. His run was outstanding. Whether win, lose or draw for him, I think his next 6 months are going to be huge. Comes from a terrific litter, obviously, racing very well in Victoria. Faithy Bale is the Smoky for me because she's got a little bit of speed. As I said, those sub-25 runs at Ballarat were outstanding. And number 3, Aston Cade, of course, is a big-time performer in these type of races. And I thought his run to run down Jack's Bale was full of merit. So 1, 2, 6 and 3. What about you, Bob?
Oh, mate, it's such a good race, honestly. I mean, we look at Simon Told Helen, a dual Group 1 winner. Aston Cade made the Group 1 Australian Cup. The Warrnambool Club must be tickling themselves with just how good this race is. Look, I'm going 2, 1, 3 and 5. I just thought the way Zambora Smoky was able to run down Simon Told Helen and do it the hard way, the tradesman's way, I thought it was such an impressive win. I've gone 2 on top ahead of 1, Simon Told Helen. I'm expecting that this greyhound's going to improve. Second run back from a spell. He's a dual Group 1 winner. And they look the 2 sprinters of the field. The third I've gone number 3, Aston Cade. If he happens to tuck in behind that leading duo, he should run well. And number 5, Jack's Baylor. I think he's the X-Factor greyhound going forward that could develop into a very handy type. Now, Georgie, $20 spend. I love keeping it simple, but today I'm going to go $20 on the Quinella because honestly, Simon Told Helen and number 2, Zambora Smoky, I think there's next to nothing between them. So the safe way might be to take a little bit of a punt and play the Quinella. Yeah,
we've gone the exotics. I'm going to follow you in, but with a box trifecta, 1, 2, 3 and 6. Yeah, I just think it's really hard to go past, especially with the box draw. But as I said, I've just got a little sneaking suspicion that Faithy Bale might get out and go from her wide draw. She's the one I'd like to be on. Certainly put her in my exotics.
Yeah, I'm not with you at the moment, Georgie, but obviously we're in isolation here. But I have felt a real push for Faithy Bale from you. You just got a bit of an inkling, have you?
Yeah, I just like her habits, and we discussed them a little bit earlier. The habits of Simon Told Helen and Zambora Smoky are very, very good too, and she's probably not in their league, but she might run a cheeky little race.
Yeah, well, make sure you download the Watchdog app for this one. We're going to have about a 5-minute lead into every race and 2 or 3 minutes post-race. There's going to be a lot of extended coverage, obviously, with people not being able to get to Warrnambool. So, Georgie, you'll be downloading the app, mate?
I've got it downloaded already. Yeah,
good man.
It lives on my TV screen, that app.
Well, that's it. That's the Warrnambool Cup preview. Thanks to George Farrugia and myself here in isolation. Good luck and happy punting. It's sure to be a cracking race.